Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out. We're live. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. So it's been a minute. I usually go almost every week, if not every other week, but sometimes there's a little bit of a break. But this is a big break. So we had some college visits going on. My son's Liam. He's 16. Been going around the country, a little bit. So we finally got done doing that, came back.
Hey, are we allowed to say where he went?
What's where he committed to? So he was supposed to go to Iowa. We didn't go to Iowa. He went to Virginia and after the schools he'd been to already, he kind of had his mind made up, So and it was just a decision. So he committed to Virginia.
Congratulations, that's awesome. Very cool.
It's been a fun.
I love the guys down there. I wrestled against Virginia quite a bit, and they're good guys. So that's awesome.
Yeah, Steve Garland.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's been there. What? How many years has he been there now? Like 15 years.
Yeah. Yes. He was talking 15 or 17 or something like that. But it's been a while. Awesome. It's been a while. Him and the Paulsons, man, tell you what, the Paulsons, like I couldn't get it. I hope they're watching. I couldn't get a good read off of Trent first when I met him. Travis was all right. Travis was kind of open, but Trent was so intense.
Right.
When we first met, I was like, I don't know. Was that supposed to be like that? I said, okay.
The good thing is that different personalities on a team, on a coaching staff is good. You got the one that's young and hip and you can relate to. You got the one that's, hey, that's kind of like mom and dad. I don't really want to piss them off. You got the politician. So it's good to have that mixture. But my first wrestling match at the NCAA tournament ever was against a UVA kid.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Matt Snyder.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, 125. Back when I could make 125. Then
I'm gonna look that one up.
Don't. I took an L. Don't look it up.
All right, so everybody, it's the Vision Quest podcast. It's been a minute, but we are joined by. Dude, this guy is so much fun to just like listen to, and the insight that you. I mean, everybody might have some insight, but the way you deliver and the insight that you do have is fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm lucky because my dad was a speaker, so I stole that. I stole the traits. So I have a cheat code. Like I always say, like people say that they comment that a lot, and I say, well, I'm the world's best plagiarizer. I just steal.
Right.
Like you're gonna say something that I'm gonna like, and I'm gonna say it at a clinic, and it's gonna sound like I said. Like that's what. So I'm not coming up with shit on my own. I steal from everybody.
Isn't that where we're all at this point, though? I mean, with how long humans have been around, aren't we kind of copying anyways? We're just tweaking it a little bit, right?
Exactly.
The delivery, and that's the thing. Delivery is important too in comedy. It's the same thing. Delivery.
Well, my dad actually, because you were a comedian. You said actually you can't like not be a comedian. You always are, right? You are a comedian, right? But he always says that whenever he goes and does like speaking engagements with these big companies, comedians he uses as a reference a lot because they recall things really well. So like you say a joke at the beginning of your set, the chicken crossed the road, ha ha ha, right?
Yeah.
Then 40 minutes later, you'll be like, oh yeah, and then I was driving on the street. What did I see? The chicken. You bring back the chicken, right? So he does that with whatever point he's trying to make, with whatever. Like he'll always revisit something he talked about 40 minutes ago. I feel like it's such a good way to learn if I'm recalling things,
It was. And I didn't learn that stuff till like later on in life. And
right.
I'm an angry old bastard now. But before that, like I was bad. I didn't leave the house very much. I still don't leave the house much. I mean, look what I do. I'm in my basement, right? But so right. Okay. So the thing about you though is that
I leave my house too much. That's right.
You've been on a wild ride, man. And that's why I said I don't do a ton of research. I did look some stuff up because I heard some crazy parachute story about base jumping. And I was like, come on, what? Yeah. I didn't look it up. Yet because I want to talk about it. Like I said, I want all this to be kind of fresh, right? So I just looked up articles, saw some stuff that really popped up on Google right away, and I left it at that.
Okay. So what are the questions? You just want me to kind of get into it?
No, we're gonna get into it. We want to start from the beginning. Where are you from? Where'd you start from?
So I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio, Aurora. Wrestled at Walsh Jesuit. First off, I'll tell you how I got interested. First of all, so
yeah. We want to start with sports. It doesn't matter which one it was.
My lovely mom, right? Well, so actually, my dad was a baseball player, and he played at Cleveland State. And he was a shortstop, so he always wanted me to be a baseball player my whole life.
Okay.
And I played baseball in the summertime, but I had like ADHD off the charts. I was freaking hyper. I couldn't go to bed at night. In the wintertime, I had nothing to like burn me out. You know what I mean? Like we need to fucking get this kid tired somehow.
That's intense,
yeah. So my mom had a friend who was a 4-time state champ from Ohio. He actually wrestled at Wisconsin for a couple of years, but he didn't finish there. His name was Dan Hansen. And it was like Jim Jordan era, like around that time.
Yep.
So she hits him up and she's like, hey, I want my son to start wrestling. What would you recommend? So my mom drove me to my first ever wrestling practice. And that's at 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old. That's when I started wrestling. And that led to, a domino effect of all of us, right? Of what we do now. So that's how it goes.
You're coming from a great area for wrestling, right? I mean, who doesn't hear about Iron Man, right?
Yeah, Walsh Jesuit is my high school.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's having that like it was like a holiday at our school. We didn't have the biggest wrestling, like how PA, some of these like wrestling schools they treat it like football.
Yeah.
We didn't have that as much in Cleveland, Ohio. However, Iron Man felt like a holiday because we call off school. Everything. It's great for that. So that's awesome to be able to have that at my high school.
They give you the day off?
The entire student body gets the day off.
No way.
Yeah.
Really cool. That I didn't know. That's pretty cool. Holy cow, that's a big deal. The whole school to shut down for you. So when you started out 5 years old, what club were you going to?
It was a small club called Mayfield Wrestling Club, just a town in the area. And then I left and I went to West Shore, which is St. Ed's youth program.
Yep, that's right.
And that led to that ended up me being at North Akron, which is Walsh's, feeder program.
Yep. Okay. So what was the first, because again, you come from a really affluent wrestling area, right? So when did you start going nationally to tournaments?
All right, so that's a good question. So me and my best friend, his name's Ty Mitch. He was a 3-time state champ from Ohio. Yep. Right, super tough kid. Didn't pan out as much in college. Just ended up following different paths. Right, but high school wise, I mean, he won Fargo. He was 3-time state champ. I think he was like top 5, 6, 7 for his recruiting class. Not just at his weight. I think he might have been pound for pound top 10. I'm not sure for his senior class. Went to Virginia Tech. Him and I pretty much started at the same time. So my dad and his mom were best friends in high school, in college.
Nice.
That ended up families being super close as they both had kids. We started wrestling together and we became best friends, right? So we're going to all these tournaments together and we're starting to win by like 7, 8 years old, like pretty much everything. And my dad would always say, if I'm very lucky that my dad wasn't like a typical wrestling dad in the sense of ego driven, let's be undefeated. Right. Which I get, dads out there listening. I don't get it. Actually, I don't get it. But go get your kids some losses. Trust me, it's fucking fine.
Correct.
So my dad was like, okay, we need to go. His goal was to get me 10 losses in a season. Right. Yeah. That was like a really big goal. So we started going to Jersey and PA and Tulsa and Reno and all these other, national tournaments.
Yeah.
And me and Ty together again started going to all these national tournaments. Tulsa, PA, and we started seeing better kids, right? Right. Not better kids, different styles. Ohio might have a little bit of a style. All of a sudden, you're wrestling a kid from Iowa. Okay, that's a different style. And we started really seeing, national wrestling on a big scale.
Sure.
And that's really where it started. It's cool because you walk around your little middle school and you're not just like a kid that goes to middle school. You're a wrestler.
Yeah.
It's like it's serious. It's very serious. That was my whole identity as a kid. It's very serious. Yeah. And It's actually. Go ahead. Sorry.
I can attest that because Liam had the same thing because he started at 5, and when he was in school, kids would pick on him, right? And like they didn't know. And then they found out, they FAFO'd and they found out on the playground where it wasn't something that he flaunted about, but they knew like he wrestled.
Right.
They know what wrestling was. They think DDT and all that other stuff. Right. And then they start messing around with them. They found out, it's kind of like it's like a hidden treasure that nobody knows about until they mess with you. Right.
Quick little story too. Like, I don't want to skip over too much, but so 2 things. Ty and I grew up wrestling together.
Okay. Yep.
We go to high school. We were supposed to go to the same school. He ended up going to the public school in Aurora, where I live. I ended up going to Walsh Jesuit, the private school, like 20, 30 minutes away. We ended up wrestling in state finals my freshman year. Right? Me and my best friend. Now, unfortunately, he gets me, in the state finals freshman year. And then, we ended up being different weights after that. Ended up, winning 3 state titles each. He was a year older than me, so his freshman year, I was still in 8th grade. But then we started when we run 3 state titles each.
Nice.
And then this is kind of a little bit sadder note, a little bit darker note. So that was Ty. So who I really started this journey with.
Yeah.
And also my mom, who brought me to my first practice. And it's kind of like the spark plug behind like my energetic self and all, how my entire personality. Sophomore year, after I won my first state title, she unfortunately passed away. She was in a car accident like a week or 2 after the state tournament. So the state tournament ends 2 weeks later, car accident, and then my mom, right? But, I like bringing this up, especially with kids. I do a lot of clinics, right? I do about 80 clinics a year.
Yeah.
And I like talking about this kind of stuff because, we say a lot of cliche things. Oh, what you learn in wrestling, you're going to deal with the rest of your life. You'll use it as tools. But we don't really have real applicable examples, And for me, is it easier because I wrestled? No, but it's manageable because I put myself through suffering every day.
Yeah.
And it was like simulating hardship. And then all of a sudden, inevitably, what do we all get? Well, grandma dies. We get injured. We flunk grades. Something happens that's real life hardship.
Yeah.
And I'm able to manage that in the best way I possibly can. Not always easy, but the best way I possibly can. because I suffered so much wrestling. So, not to jump into something deep and sad right away, but, we're talking about my mom, so it's obviously something that comes to mind.
It's I have both my parents, so I definitely can't say that I can put myself in your shoes, but I can definitely think that, it does a testament just because of the stress you go through, not only that situation, losing a parent or a sibling, but then having that, and then also the stress of the event, the duel or the tournament that you have to go to. And a lot of guys go, like they don't, because they know that person that they're missing that's probably what they wanted, right? They would have wanted me to do this. And as hard as it is, that's the stress, that's
for sure. Yeah. I think
that's the prep.
I think too, like, a lot of people will hear me maybe saying this and be like, well, how are you comparing, wrestling workouts and, it's hardship and comparing that to like losing a family member? Of course, I don't think those two things are the same.
Sure. Right.
But you know what they are? Short term, they're equal. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying they're equal pain, but when you're dealing with something, if your pinky hurts or you have, chest pain, something serious, in the moment, it hurt is hurt, right? Like in the moment for a second. So when I'm overwhelmed with, I just want to breathe, I don't want to do any sprints, my voices are talking in my head, this sucks, get out of here. It doesn't matter if my fucking house is on fire. Right. You know what I mean? The only thing I'm thinking about is when is coach going to say practice is over? Like it is engulfing my mind. So although that is not on a grand scale as important or as impactful or as painful as losing a parent, dealing with that like high volume of stress, in the moment when it's in discomfort, when it's, full on turbulence. Yeah. That's a really tough place to navigate. So I have this thing that I call why to what? I call it why to what? And basically what it means is, if I was gonna get thrown in the first 10 seconds of a match, I would never say, why me? Why did I do that? Why God, why? Why did I shoot? Why? I'd probably say, okay, what do I gotta do to get back in this match? I gotta get an escape. Okay, now I gotta escape. Okay, I gotta get a takedown. Okay, now I gotta choose down second period. Hey, now I'm here. Now I'm here. So when I translate that to real life hardship, I could say, why me? Why does good things happen to bad people? Or I'm sorry, I said the opposite. Why does bad things happen to good people? Why God, why? Yada, yada, yada. Or I can say, okay, what? I'm used to saying what because I've done it my whole life in wrestling. What do I got to do to be there for my brothers? What do I got to do to be there for my dad? What do I got to do to be there to get over somebody that was so close to me and impactful in my life? And I think that's a really really important asset that wrestlers have.
It takes a minute. Again, I have an older son. He's 21 years old. So I watched him, try to do the same thing. Why is this? There's never any kind of introspection, but just kind of why, like looking out.
Why is almost like a past tense word. You know what I mean? Correct. Why, and look back.
Doesn't matter now.
Like coughing. Just got off I got a plane. I'm all stuffy, so sorry.
You're good. Well, dude, you've been all over the place, man.
I haven't stopped traveling. I haven't stopped traveling since I've been on the road since May until right now. This is my first full week home, so it's gonna be nice. Jeez. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so we're gonna get back into the wrestling here. When you were younger, you had wrestling, right?
Sure.
What you grabbed onto. What did you do outside of wrestling that passed the time for you? Because this is going to build into later.
Yeah, hobby wise,
why you do what you do.
I was always adventurous. Maybe not to the prediction of what I do now, obviously.
But out in the woods doing stuff, getting out.
But I wasn't I wasn't a country boy. Okay. I've never really vibed with the whole I'm not the hunter. You know, and no disrespect to people that hunt. That's all cool. I'm a softie. I'll eat meat, but I love animals. I just not my vibe, right? And I would more so go adventure around the woods with, instead of being outdoorsy in the sense of survivalist, it was more I'm outdoorsy being creative. Sure. It was more like that. I was imagining, dragons and fairyland and Chronicles of Narnia happening when I'm 8 years old playing in the woods. That's what I was, right? I was more like that.
Nice.
So, when I'm running around, I'm riding bikes around town with my buddies. We're venturing in the woods. We're, climbing trees. We're doing all that crazy stuff. It was more on the creative side, right? And then I was very lucky with my parents being relatively successful at a young age, where we traveled a lot, where I saw different cultures. Like I never became, jaded towards specific demographics or communities because I only saw bad things on the news about X, Y, and Z. Like it was always easy because I met everybody, I saw everybody, and everybody's a human being, and it was just at a young age, it was really easy for me, to grasp. So I'm very fortunate in that. I think that probably put the biggest, effect on how I live life right now.
Okay. It explains a lot. Like, right. Just kind of, like I said, it's going to lead into, things that kind of go post college here. But with middle school, you started you got into the national scene. You guys, I mean, it sounds like, I'm going to just be like, you were pretty good. Like you obviously had an area that you came from that had, good pedigree, good wrestling people to be around, good partners, plus with the guy that you grew up with, and teammates and things like that were probably all top notch. And then with high school, did you find yourself, were there a few more challenges that you were like, oh man, I gotta catch up to something? Did you have any kind of mental issues in high school? Like, I don't know if I can beat this guy. Like,
no, not in high school. My transition from middle school to high school was pretty smooth. I was wrestler of the year, like with the tallest stuff. I was wrestler of the year.
Yeah.
But for all weights, yeah.
Okay.
I think 1500 or 1200, whichever one was right before high school.
Yeah.
And then when I got into high school, right away I was pretty good. I was ranked pretty high nationally. Second first year in states, and then I never really struggled with that kind of stuff. I developed bad habits in high school, but mental stuff. Actually, I developed some bad habits mentally in high school where I relied too much on superstition and ritual. Like I should say ritual because there's positive aspects to ritual and routine are different, right?
I was going to say routine. Right. Yeah.
Routine is like, okay, I'm getting myself in the state of mind that I'm used to going to get in a fight afterwards. That's good.
Yep.
If I crack my neck left and then crack my neck right, and then I go out there and wrestle, hey, I'm used to going left and right and then wrestle. Like I might just snap into it. That's good. I like that, right? Yep. But when it becomes like lucky underwear and I gotta knock on wood 4 times, whatever weird stuff like that, which a lot of wrestlers have.
They do.
What it's trying to do is control a controllable that we cannot control, which is the outcome. Oh, if I work as hard as I can, I can control the outcome. No, you can't. I'm sorry, but you're gonna lose again because talent separates and people are better. And that's just how it is. If you don't lose again, like there's times I've lost to people that I've outworked. Well, how does that make sense? Well, they're better at wrestling than me. You know what I mean? That's how it goes. That's not an excuse. Right. That's just we got to make adjustments. So when it comes to like superstitions, what really bothers me about myself is I would give the credit to my superstition and not my hard work. Right? Like if I would win, it was because I knocked on wood and not because I trained at 6 a.m. And that's a bad place to start developing habits from. Then you start to give less emphasis on your work ethic, and you start to give more emphasis on these fake controllables that are trying to control the outcome that you really can't rely on. So it's really that developed in high school a little bit because it worked, right?
Yeah,
like it worked. I won everything in high school. It was easy, but it wasn't because of superstitions. It was because I trained hard, and I was pretty good. And then I get to college, and we don't think we think we know everything, and it doesn't come as easy. College is a big step.
That's so because of that your success before, and that's why I really want to talk about that transition. Was it basically right when you got into the practice room, or was it when you went to an open or something? Did you redshirt?
No. I went in right away. 125.
Okay. Okay.
So I was supposed to go 33 because I was 130 my senior year of high school. I was supposed to go 33.
Okay.
But Logan couldn't make 25 anymore. So Logan was like, okay, Logan Steamer for those watching.
Yeah.
Pretty tough guy, right?
Yeah,
he was pretty good. He was gonna go. He was like, okay, we're trying to figure out the lineup, and he's like, okay, I think I'm over to 33. Do you think you can make 25? And I was like, dude, I'm gonna try. So I get down to 25 for my first open, and I had a JUCO kid like first round. It was Michigan State Open, but it was like a JUCO kid, and it was like 10-9. And I won, but it was like freaking like, yeah, I'm a Big Ten wrestler, like Ohio State, starting 125 pounder. And no disrespect to JUCO. JUCO kids are fucking tough.
Yeah,
But there is the expectation, right, that I'm supposed to beat this guy, which is a weird thing that we say, but like whatever. 10-9, 10-9, close, barely scraped by. And after like the first minute and a half, like I am exhausted. So in high school, my first round, I could tech fall everybody and feel like dog shit. Like my weight cut could be, I could starve my way down to weight. I could eat like shit after wins. I could be a little bit bloated, and I could still probably tech the guy. In college, that first match is going to be so freaking hard, and everything is going to hurt. And if you don't cut your weight right, you're going to have a really bad time. You know, you might win because you're good at wrestling, but you're going to have a really bad time. So that really was eye-opening for me. You know, it's like, you better take this freaking seriously. You better take this weight cut seriously. You better take your warm-up seriously. I used to hardly warm up in high school. It's like, I don't need. It's like this arrogance thing that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see
and that warm-up, your warm-up is so important because all that blood is trying to break down that food that you just stuffed in your stomach. And none of it is in your muscles. So if you don't start that warm up and get your heart rate up and get that blood really flowing back into your arms and back into your legs, you're gonna have a hard time your first period. You're gonna have a real hard time, you know. So that warm up is crucial.
That's the crazy stuff that, you know, you don't because you're not talking about it as much, especially when a parent makes their kid start to cut, like, you know, when they're a young kid. We're talking 8 years old now, 9, 10.
I was cutting young. I can't lie. I was cutting young.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's the difference. So like, and I'm not going to make excuses for it, but I'm also going to say that you guys were also in an area that you guys were in a competitive wrestling environment in the first place. So you knew about that coming up in the first place, right? Was there the knowledge around you at the time where, cause you know how it is, like people will tell you something, be like, you got to do this, you got to eat this way, you got to eat this way. And you're like, yeah. I've been doing this. I still eat this stuff that my mom makes. It's healthy stuff, but I still eat this, and kind of disregard. Or did you have the knowledge around you guys about cutting properly at that time and did it properly?
I never had properly is I developed bad habits again, right? I'll kind of get to what I did wrong weight cutting wise, but no, I didn't unhealthy cut weight when I was 8 and 9. You know, it was like, let's say I forget how much I weighed at 8 and 9 years old, 60 pounds, whatever, right? Like,
it's not the same kind of weight.
Like if I was 60 pounds, if I was making 60 pounds, I was weighing 64. You know what I mean? So it was like 4 pounds, right? It wasn't like crazy, right?
Right.
Which body percent wise, like that's probably a high percent if you really think about it.
At that, right.
But here's the thing: my dad never made me cut weight. I wanted to. It was weird. I hated it. I cried. I said I'll never do it again. I've never drank alcohol before, but I'm assuming it's like when people go out and they're like, I'm never drinking again, right?
Yeah.
And then they do again. So for me, it was like I would cut weight and I'm fucking miserable. And I'm starving, I'm thirsty, and I'm wrestling on nothing. And you know, I make the weight, I win Tulsa, and I'm like, I'm going 40 pounds next week. Like, you know, you just like start thinking shit. And you know, what it does, which is really good when you get older in high school, is it forces you to live a good lifestyle. There's unhealthy parts of cutting weight. Yo-yoing.
Oh, yeah.
If people start to get into like bad habits of like bulimia or anorexia, that's unhealthy. But one thing that I really like is wrestling on an empty stomach when you know you can't eat after this. That takes something. You know, that really takes something. You have to learn a lot about yourself. I really like that. And it forced me to live a good lifestyle in the sense of all my friends want to go out and drink.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm cutting weight and I'm tired. I'm going to go watch a movie. You know? So that's a really good thing. It forces you to live somewhat a responsible lifestyle. And side note to that, when my mom died when I was 16, although it was a car accident, alcohol kind of led to it happening. So at that moment, I decided I was never going to drink alcohol, and I hadn't at this point. So now I'm 32, and I've never tried alcohol because of that, you know, and that helped cut weight too. You know, you see people in college who like to party, and they get caught up in this this college lifestyle. Like, hey, I'm 21, I'm allowed to drink now, and I had a big advantage from youth, from just from never wanting to dabble in that. I've done one thing in my entire life. I've never smoked. I've never drank. We could talk about this if you want.
Yeah.
With Jake Paul, I did an ayahuasca retreat. We can talk about that, later on.
Yeah.
I did do that
we'll
one
bring
time.
that up. We'll bring that up.
And actually, I had a full-on conversation with my mom, like this, like me and you right now. So
wow,
that was really cool. It was really cool. So
I don't disregard that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's more medicinal. People don't even look at it like a drug, really. They more so look at it like therapy, which I think is good, especially with like all the knowledge that we have on like the natural type of things. I'm not like super like hippie holistic, but I definitely am into like learning about it because it is really cool.
Well, it's introspective. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, because it's not interacting with the outside world. You're trying to,
and I'm not doing it to escape reality. It's like, I need to drink. And again, here's something that I do want to clarify. People listening, if you drink alcohol and I say I don't, do I think I'm better than you? No, not at all. Like, that's not what I believe. I think if you are able to enjoy alcohol, smoke weed, do what you want to do, right?
Yep.
And it's not because you want to escape reality. It's just, hey, I just want to have a vibe for an hour or two. Yeah. That's fucking awesome.
Yep.
I know that I would not be like that and I would abuse it. So because my mom, had trouble, had struggled. So therefore I was like, you know what, because I'd be worse than a lot of people, I'm never going to do anything. It was more like that. You know what I mean? Yep. So it wasn't because I think I'm better than people, like it's the opposite kind of.
Right. And I agree.
I'm a piece of shit,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's the same thing with anything that really I'm just in life, but you do get what you got to do. Like if you're doing it and it's all for you and that's all it's about, then have at it, man.
Right.
But okay. So we're
gonna pause because if you're gonna skip weight cutting, there's one thing I thought of when I was talking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm filibustering too much, but I get excited. I get fired up about this.
It's all right.
Because I want kids, if they're listening, or dads listening. Yep. I really want to spread this. My biggest problem that I carried into college from youth weight cutting was I knew I can get away with starving my way down to weight. I could float a lot. I always understood like, okay, every 6 hours I'll lose a pound. Okay, so if I don't eat all day at school, and then I practice and I lose 2 pounds, and then I don't eat until dinner time, I can have like 3 pounds at dinner. Like I would always think to myself, I can starve my way down to weight because I was scared of one thing. I was scared to work out extra. And I think a lot of kids are scared to work out extra. They're scared that if I eat, I'm gonna have to run. Right. And that was something that I really struggled with in college. Jay Jaggers, if he was here right now, he'd be, yeah, you did. Like he'd be giving it to me. It was a really big problem where I was so scared to like have like a grape, because, well, am I going to have to work on it? Because if I feel like shit right now, it's like, yeah, you might feel like shit right now, but you know why you feel like shit right now and don't want to work out? Because you haven't fucking ate, So it's like, if you are somebody who wants to starve your way down to weight because you want to eat at night and it'll feel so good, you can have that big ass Gatorade.
Yeah.
Stop fucking being a pussy and go eat and don't be afraid to work out extra. Okay, I had a sandwich and a Gatorade and I gotta go run for 20 minutes. Good job. You do that 3 times a week. Well, that's 12 workouts a month. Hey, in 3 months, that's 36 workouts. You know what I mean? That adds up over time, and that's a little bit of an edge. So don't be afraid to work out extra. Don't be afraid to eat. I think that's a really important thing that I wish I was better at in middle school because it would have really helped me in college.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that because Liam has started to everything's going to roll back because Liam is like currently everything that you're talking about is literally what he's going through. Right.
Like we can get away with it. I can starve. Liam's good. I can get away with starving and kicking ass first round of the tournament. Oh, by the time the semis come around, I'm full. I feel good. I've had hours to digest. But it's like in college, it don't work like that. You can't just be used to starving.
Right.
Not good.
Right. And that's it. So that's the balance because he wouldn't, it's literally, I told him, and there's endurance. You can tell that they're dead. Right.
Yeah.
And I said, you need to get on a bike, dude. You don't have to run. Running's
impact.
Sit on a bike. Airdyne. You can go like this, feet and arms go at the same time.
Just freaking
low impact.
Do stance of motion. Like, it can be light. Something that doesn't get you sore. It's close to the time you're supposed to compete. Yep. I get it. You're not trying to abuse your body, but just don't be afraid to move around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't
And that's the discipline thing. You know, at an age where like you're already defiant enough because you're going through another testosterone spurt and you know how to, like, he knows how to do everything, right? He knows how to do it all by himself. And that's fine. I want the independence, but like,
I don't know how to do shit alone. So like, right. I think we all think that when we're 16 and then all of a sudden you're like, dude, hey, I'm going to be like 45 years old calling my dad like, dude, what do I do? You know?
Yeah. Hold on. I thought I knew how to do this, but I told you I did, but I really don't. So yeah. So I can't relate as far as just everything you guys went through, especially Liam and what you went through for wrestling.
I appreciate you say you always say I can't relate. You know what a lot of coaches say to me when I do I do clinics, and some of these coaches are really good, so it is true.
Yeah.
But I'll like do a clinic, and I'll I do 80 camps a year. I see like 10,000 kids. And I do it a lot, right? And at full time, pretty much, like even in the winter. And I'll do these camps. I'll teach something that I learned like that I didn't know until like college. I'll teach something, blah, blah, hey, freaking Travell Delagnev taught me this. Third in the Olympics, like boom. And coach goes to me, hey, I'm really happy you're teaching this. I said the exact same thing last week, and it's just good that we're on the same page. And I'm like, dude, you may have said the same thing last week. I don't know, but why are you telling me that? What is the point? Like, are you trying to relate to me? Like, I'm sure you're a good coach. You don't have to prove to me you're a good coach. Like, I believe you. I believe you're a good coach. You know, like if Jordan Burroughs taught a double leg and I taught a double leg last week, I would never tell JB, hey, dude, I taught double legs last week. I would probably think JB, like, I'm not going to tell Gordon Ramsay, hey, dude, I cooked pie last week. You know what I mean? I cooked filet mignon last week. You know, Gordon Ramsay probably fucking does it pretty good. You know?
I just don't. I tell Liam that too. I mean, I don't. It's at a level that I don't anymore. I don't know. You know,
right?
Like, even I'm trying to pay people to coach him because I don't know. Like I'm trying to make sure that I don't screw whatever he's got going up. But like even sports wise, I played like soccer was my gig, but soccer's way different than wrestling, right? It's completely different. There's a little physicality to it in soccer, but it's different. So I didn't necessarily
love soccer, though. Soccer's sick.
I absolutely I fell in love when I was like 4 or 5 and I didn't stop. Wrestling was a filibuster for not playing indoor soccer is what that was. Yeah, I played
I love all sports too. Like as wrestlers, we have a chip on our shoulder because we don't get the love that the football team gets in high school or the basketball team or whatever. And I get it. That gives us like a really cool like niche community, which is really good. I do like the side of it. But I'm a cheerleader, bro. Like basketball, we're supposed to hate that. Basketball's sick.
Yeah,
that's what's so sick.
If like, they can entertain
Cavs undefeated. Well, they're playing the Hornets right now. I don't know if they're winning, but the Cavs undefeated. Basketball's sick. LeBron's dope. Stop calling him a sissy. Like, dude, freaking basketball's sick, man. Like, all sports are sick. And if you okay with think wrestling's sick, man, put good energy out there. You know, put good energy out there. Man, don't reciprocate itself. I promise. You know, I like the chippiness. I like that we walk around. Like, I get it. But at the same time, like, dude, freaking soccer is cool. Like, it's a cool sport.
It tried getting Liam into it, and it was interfering with wrestling practice, so he didn't want to go.
Well, that's fine. Somebody has to decide. Like, I'm not like I like wrestling more than.
And that's what I told him.
Yeah, that's what I told him. Fan, I like all sport. I like competitiveness. You know, I'm like,
hell yeah.
I watch Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark freaking claw their faces off. It's sick. It's gangster. I don't care what it is. I'll watch anything. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, freaking. I'm kind of Team Angel. I think I might be Team Angel. I know that's gonna piss people off, but I might be Team Angel.
Okay, all right.
Caitlin Clark's dope. She's dope.
They're both, but
they're both dope.
The rebounds though.
But like Angel is getting like, if everything Angel did was in male form, she would be, like, oh, she's a competitor. But instead, she's a girl and she's complaining, and it's like, no, bro. She fucking is like she's putting it out there. Like let the entertainment happen. I think
she is. She takes a beating and she keeps going. You know, she does. It's tough. Like I'm a critic, right? Like I'm a guy that's out there saying this sucks or doesn't suck, and I'm sure I bring enough negativity to make people throw up. But at the same time, though, I do see that. I mean, it was the same thing when like I said with Ben, like you run a kids club kind of thing. But it was part of the entertainment. It's part of the gig, and they're able to take it. Right. Exactly. And if they're able to take it and still play and do that, I'm not saying that they're not hurt. I'm sure that there's stuff that's said out there that absolutely can rail on someone's mind. Right.
Oh, yeah.
At the same point though, too, that they're getting paid not much by the WNBA, but
for sure
with their NIL deals, I mean, they're getting a good amount of money to do the thing that they love, right? And I can't come down on that. That is a positive thing, because I was able to do that for a little bit, but then I had to realize that I was old and not able to play with 18, 19-year-olds anymore.
Right,
I was
right.
slammed around. So
yeah, two things that I really think of too is like, one, yeah, people don't get paid a lot in certain aspects, not just the WNBA, but USA Wrestling.
Yep,
USA Wrestling.
for sure.
And here's something that I do wish was a little bit different. We as wrestlers have to do better as a community, because number one, we always think if you're not making the world team, what does everybody on the forums and Twitter say? Washed. It's like, hey, if somebody doesn't make a world team and they want to wrestle, guess what the fuck they should do? Wrestle.
It's getting harsh out there, man.
You got like with that same mindset, you better be the best fucking insurance salesman in the country. Otherwise, quit. Like, what is the point of saying like, oh, Chance Marsteller doesn't make the world team?
Burned
up. I
up.
don't know how much longer he's got. Bro, I don't care. Like, he can wrestle to his sport. I don't care.
Yeah.
If he wants to wrestle. And the more people we get wrestling, if somebody's not winning the NBA championship every single year, should they stop playing basketball? No. They're probably pretty good on their freaking team.
Yeah.
We need LeBron Jameses, and we need people that are just like run-of-the-mill guys. We need the James Hardens. We need the JR. James Harden's pretty good, but J.R. Smith. Like, we need across the board. We need that, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing I was just thinking of too is we're talking about Angel Reese and we're talking about Caitlin Clark. We're talking about these people, right? It's personalities. In wrestling, I think we do a really bad job of suppressing an individual expression, and we don't allow superstars. We have this phrase, act like you've been there before. And a lot of times people haven't been there that say that. You don't know what it feels like to win. Yeah. And I'm not saying like, you can't have opinions if you haven't won something, but it's like.
We wrap it up in a respect cloak.
We think it's respect. And it's not. Dude, me flexing, you know what that's respectful to? My freaking family in the stands looking at me that saw how fucking hard I just tried. That's respect. I respect the sport. I respect the sport of wrestling and the art of wrestling enough to be passionate about it and give a fucking fist bump. Do I need to go AJ Ferrari and double, finger the crowd? No.
I'm just gonna say that. Yeah.
I'm not saying that. Right. But it's okay to have personality in your sport. Yeah. And I think that's a really important thing in a sport that we can't be that creative. Like, if a kid dyes his hair or wears a knee sleeve or wears like a chin cup, that's about as much creativity as we can get. Right? Like, we can't do that, but we don't have the visors in football and the, you know what I mean? All that. We don't have the touchdown dances. We don't have that much creativity. Let us do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Stop hating on everything so much. Jake, being close with Jake. Jake has a really good phrase, and this kind of attests to how Jake Paul is, and a lot of people probably understand him more with this quote.
Yep.
Make them have an opinion of you. Make them have an opinion of you, right? Who's some UFC fighters that I dislike Colby Covington. Yeah. I have an opinion of him. Yeah. And that is a good thing for the sport. He's a piece of shit. But guess what? It's a good thing. I think he's a piece of shit because it helps the UFC, right? Like, that's the attitude. Like,
everything's got a purpose.
Make them have an opinion of you. Then there's people, Leon Edwards, right? I like Leon, and he's came on more star power in the past couple of years. But at the beginning, he wasn't a factor, a talking point. You're right. He wasn't talking about. Nobody had an opinion of him, and sometimes just getting your hand raised is not enough to sell a sport. Drama and storylines sell a sport. And winning caps it off. Winning is the period or the exclamation point at the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
It can't just be the thing that the sentence is about.
And I think we have some actors in the play.
Fuck yeah, we got Carter Sarachi, we got AJ Ferrari. I don't love his antics sometimes. I don't love but like talking, AJ Ferrari is a bad example, because I don't like some of the stuff that he's done.
But an example nonetheless.
There's a line. Exactly. There's a line.
Right?
There's a line. I don't need you to be a punk, but having a chip on your shoulder, he's fucking gangster. Let's go.
Correct. So that's like kind of.
AJ, if you're listening, no disrespect, just be a good human, dog. All right, be a good human. I hope the best for you. All right.
Just a good person. That's
just
all.
Be a good person, man.
Be a good person.
Be a good person. And if you're not a good person, I'm going to talk about it. And guess what? It's probably a good thing.
All right. Spread the love. Spread the love, man. Spread the love. I agree. I think
when they brought it back in with the celebrations in the NFL. I was like, yeah, why not? I mean,
it was good.
These guys, it's like it's almost natural, right? It's almost natural to do. Some guys do and some guys don't.
Right.
But the guys that do, man, it's entertaining.
Well, the good thing about the guys that don't is like, okay, the Iowa style wrestling, Iowa style mentality, even though they get their hand raised, run off the mat, act like you've been there before, it's almost, they do it in a way that's still a talking point because it's like Iowa, right? Like, so it's not exactly what I'm talking about. That's still a talking point, and that's still good because it's villainous. It's like, well, you think you're too good to do that, right? Like, so those I like that one still. It's other ones that like I can't think of a good example, but it's like you could have gave me more. You're a non-factor. Show your personality. Don't be afraid to talk. Have a life outside of wrestling a little bit where I have communication skills. I have personal skills, and I can give interviews. I can talk. I have hobbies that people are interested in, and all of a sudden I go into the mat, and now there's a storyline behind me, right? Like Spencer Lee had fans that because he was good at wrestling, he also had fans because of fucking Pokemon.
Yep.
Which is good.
Yep.
Show your personality. Wrestlers, show your personality. It's a good thing.
All the way through. All the way through. I think a lot of what brings to wrestling is the edges because there's so much it's all you, right? It's about you. And like you said, I'm showing my family that we just killed it, because they put something into it too, right? So
he put miles on the road for me.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not about a guy standing over the top of him, like screaming in his
face.
That line, right? But getting up, you got the pin, whatever, you're walking away and you're flexing, whatever it is, that is fine. And honestly, not a lot of refs have a problem with it. No. It's the other people on the outside that want to bitch about it, right? And I'll put myself up against the wall. I'm sure I've done it with someone or was like, man, you look like an idiot. Just whatever it is kind of thing,
sure
right?
Yeah, we've all done it.
But I'm talking about them, right? Like you got my attention.
But there's also like a sense of like, okay, let's say somebody does something celebration-wise, not over the line, but it makes me go, I want that guy to lose. Yeah, right. That's good.
Right.
That's good.
It's still part of the storyline.
You don't want everybody to win in wrestling because now all of a sudden it's just two good guys. It's never a fun story.
That's right.
Two bad guys is good, and a good and a bad is good. But two good guys is not good. Like, it just doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. Like, it just doesn't work like that. And if you're a wrestler out there and you want to be the good guy, go be superhero. If you are out there and you feel like you are the kind of guy who's like, man, fuck everybody else. They don't get me. Then go fucking lean into it and be it.
That's right.
Go fucking be it.
That's right. So what was your first flex? What was your first?
I did it, bro, and I regret it. I hate that I was scared to be cocky. And cocky's a strong word, but in general, I was just scared to let it show.
Like flagrant.
Yeah, and I wish I did, fuck,
You too.
And you never know what you're gonna do. Like, is the reason we wrestle for NIL money? No, it's a good byproduct though. Is the reason we wrestle to go viral? No, of course not. But it's a good byproduct. If you never know what could happen. You say something stupid in a post-game, post-fight, post-wrestling match interview. You do some stupid dance. There is a company out there that will see it and be like, oh, well, let's give him NIL money. He just shouted us out. He just, you never know where that can go.
See how many people like that? How many people are watching that? Yeah.
Remember when Trey Hidlay did the hoagie thing? Like after, it was like 8 years ago or something. Like after Who's Number One? If that was NIL time and that was Subway and that was Quiznos and that went viral and that went, you never know where that can lead into.
He is Hoagie Hidlay.
Yeah, he's Hoagie Hidlay. That's what I'm saying.
That's right. It worked. I mean, so I guess even AJ being a heel and even because he puts himself there, right? It's not like he's trying to avoid it.
I don't think he puts himself there. I think he just is there. I don't think he's trying to be anything. I think he is that.
He's just there. That's what it is. And I can get along with that. You got it. Someone has to do something, right?
Well, I don't love it. I don't love AJ's antics, but here's where I struggle. Would I want my son to do what AJ Ferrari does? No.
Nope. That's called parenting.
But is it? What are the pros and cons of wrestling? Does it make us look bad? Is it good because we want him to lose? What's the upside? I don't know. And I'm sure if I hung with AJ, I've been told he's a nice kid. Angelo, actually, I heard Angelo's a great kid.
Yes, Liam's actually hung out with him. He's
I've heard
quiet.
Angelo's a real good kid.
Pretty
So
quiet.
it's like being a talking point. I feel like AJ's a tough example to use because it is so far over the line.
True.
But Carter Srirachi, I think, is a better example. I like Carter.
Yes.
I like Carter. I think he plays a heel perfect. He talks his shit.
He does.
Gets his hand. You know what I mean? Like, I think Carter's a perfect example.
So so don't get me wrong. I'm not the guy that like I've done comedy, right? Like I understand I'm having a hard time buying the meanness though.
Of Carter.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because these guys have been so nice for so long.
Penn State's like the Golden State Warriors though to me. So like everybody is like a good boy except Draymond Green. Right? And it's like, hey, I'm gonna take it on myself to be the guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's almost like, a couple of those. But let me say something real quick. I'm friends with a lot of Penn State people. Let me say that. I'm friends with a few Penn State wrestlers.
Okay.
I fucking hate Penn State. Like, Bo's my boy. Shout out to Bo. Like, that's my boy. That's my boy. But
I have a hard time buying his meanness.
I hate y'all, man. Like, I hate wrestling you guys. I hate everything about you. I hate the way you look.
You're so good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you guys have to be so good.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I do like the entertainment value. I think when we first came in, I've evolved, but I was probably the same stuffy way as like, no, we don't need that. We don't need to teach
and that's good to recognize for sure.
And the only thing that it came from was just the parenting side. Like if I teach my kid this stuff now, like he's going to be out of control of stuff and people are have their cameras out. I would just rather him just be like, yeah, okay, if he's crying a little bit after he loses, don't mind, whatever, go do your thing. But then as we started getting into middle school and he got into high school and kind of watching how, like how these guys, Penn State and Srirachi and stuff like that, go with it. But I was like, all right. I was like, God, but these guys just don't seem very good at it. Right. Like, could they like maybe take a couple, hey, Siriano took some acting classes. Those guys could pay off a little bit if they
I forgot Siriano did acting classes.
He did. Yeah. And I think he's actually taken some out in California, but I gotta get him back on too. But
I did a little acting recently. I don't know if you found your
we got to get back into you. We're going to get there. You did do some acting. I'm sure many people that are watching probably know of it.
I'm excited about that.
Yet. So when we left off, let's get into high school. You were transitioning into college, getting into the practice room. You got into dieting but as far as competition wise, I mean, it's not like you're walking into a light room. You're walking into Ohio State, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What was that?
The guys in my room at that time, we had Henry Cejudo training for freestyle stuff. We had Angelo Escobedo, who ends up with champ training for freestyle stuff. We had Reese Humphrey training freestyle stuff. We had Logan Steamer, who was on my team. We had Hunter Steamer, who was my weight. Not my weight, but on my team, roughly my weight. We had Sean Bunch, who was, old team member. So we had like 7 or 8 guys that were all within 10 pounds of each other that were either All-Americans or training to make a world team or a Henry Cejudo Olympic champion, right? Like, it was insane. You didn't get a break where it can be detrimental and it can be good. It's like, if you're not able to build confidence, that sucks.
Right.
But also, like, you do want your ass kicked once in a while too, which is great.
Right. But you don't want it every single day. So, I mean, that's the mental side, I guess, because, you talk about dieting, but most guys don't get that until they get into college with nutritionists and like talking to the, coaches about it anyways. But mental side, what did that do to you? I mean, you're a competitor, right? I mean, you like to push yourself and put yourself in positions that make you uncomfortable. But when you get into that type of a situation, like you said, high school is like, oh, fuck, I don't have to do this. Now you get in the college room. I mean, what was the first month like?
I mean, tough. You always hear stories like, oh, freshmen don't get takedowns for the first month. I didn't score a lot of points, for probably, a few practices in a row, unless it was, another freshman. It's just, it's tough. And there's guys there that, you would have beat up on in high school. They weren't the toughest, and they're a byproduct of a really tough system now. Big Ten college wrestling, and one thing is, I call it taking someone's last breath. Where in wrestling, like you take somebody down, and you can kind of feel like as you're about to secure it, they go, ugh. and they kind of like bail out, right?
Yeah.
That happens a lot in high school. In college, nobody like concedes that easy. Where it's almost like you ever trip in front of your crush. Yeah, when you were young, you trip, you play it off. Like no, I don't trip. You stand up real fast. You put wrestling in college is like that. You're about to get the takedown, and it's like they play it off. It's like you didn't get. It's like they're already back to their feet, and you're like, fuck, was that too? I don't know. Like that was really close. It's one of those.
It's a great analogy.
It's so hard. Where me scoring points almost takes away on me. If I score points in high school, I gain confidence. If I score points in college and somebody's trying really hard, it's like, fuck, please don't get up. I'm so hard. And that's like a crazy thing to have, like as a freshman, young man, 18 years old. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah. I can't, again, that kind of thing, I can't relate to. I mean, I played tough guys in soccer. And again, it's a good sport. When it comes to the mental, Liam was excited because number one, he just wanted to get into a room where the guys were also, again, you're talking about probably state champs and state placers, things like that, where that's a whole room, right? And that's got to be an exciting time. But like at some point, did you wind up questioning yourself once you got into college?
Yeah,
at
yeah.
any
of course,
point where
of
you're
course,
like,
of course, yeah.
should I keep doing this?
Well, one thing is if you don't push yourself to a place where you question yourself, you're probably going through a pretty easy field of people, which I don't think is the best thing. So, that's hard to do. Like me being removed from discomfort right now, it's very easy to identify. It's like you ever play like Mafia or Werewolf. It's like, okay, when I'm dead, I know who's the Mafia. I know exactly who's who. Like if I've seen a movie already, I know who the killer is. Like, how do you not know? So that's how I feel right now, right? But when you're in it and all the discomfort is like, everything sucks. It's cloudy. I hurt. My chest hurts. My brain hurts. Like when you're in it, it's really hard to realize what's good for you and what's bad for you. Because all you want to do is feel comfort again. All you want to do is feel like I can breathe again. And, okay, here's a good story. I had this wrestler. His name was Mac McGuire. Pretty tough kid. Nationally ranked top 12, top 13 every year. 4-time national qualifier. Never All-American, but pretty tough. He wrestled at Kent State.
Okay.
Mac was somebody I did not match up well with stylistically.
Okay.
People that would whoop on him, I would beat. But when I would wrestle Mac, I struggled. He was a left leg lead. I didn't do good with left leg leads. Yep. He shot a sweep to when he'd be left leg lead. He shot a sweep to my left side, right? And no, I'm sorry, it would be my right side. He would shoot sweeps to my right side, and I just wasn't good there, right? Now I wrestled him 4 or 5 times in college. I never lost to Mac, but again, I didn't match up well. I won 5 matches against him. I never scored 1 takedown. Never 1 takedown. So I always won some weird way. Like I got a turn. I reversed him to his back. Some weird shit would happen. I got a ride out point. Like some weird shit would happen.
Oh shit.
So we're at the national duels, and it's Hofstra versus Ohio State. We win. Kent State has Iowa State. We have the winner next. And it's coming down to heavyweight. And Mac wrestles for Kent State. And I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this come down to heavyweight, and I'm getting emotionally invested into this match, rooting for Iowa State because I don't match up good with Mac McGuire. I don't want to wrestle somebody I don't match up good with, right? So I'm getting all into it. Yeah. Well, Iowa State ends up losing. Kent State wins. I have to wrestle Mac McGuire, but I just took an emotional loss before I even step foot on the mat.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just going to recovery, putting my feet up, hey, who do I got next? Cool. Deal with it when it comes. Like, instead of just having that kind of attitude, I just went through a whole other match. Invested into something, lost the emotional investment, and now I got to go wrestle it with a negative attitude going, fucking match, I'm good with this guy. Now, the story would be better had I lost the match, right? I ended up winning. But and this just goes to show what is important. What's important? Just winning or getting better? And that sounds like I'm a ribbon giver. Everybody gets a trophy. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, though, if imagine if my attitude can be, fuck, I don't match up good with this guy, to, ooh, I don't match up good with this guy. I'm about to get better. That's sick. Like, what if I got excited for that? Which is a really hard thing to do. And another way would be like, let's say I'm terrible in a position. Well, what's a position that Liam, isn't that great at yet?
Just his probably I would say down position. He's still a little weak.
Down. Okay, fine. All right, so
getting up.
Let's say it's 2-1 third period or 3-point takedowns now. So we'll say it's 3-1 Liam's winning third period. About a minute left. He gives up a takedown. He's on bottom. He's down by 1. Most people who aren't good on bottom are going to say, fuck, he just took me down and I'm not that good on bottom. Fuck.
Yep.
Instead, what if it could be that delusional optimism? Like, woo, he just took me down. I'm not good here. And he like, I know I sound fucking dumb and crazy right now, and nobody will ever be that delusionally optimistic about it. Yep. But if I could get excited where I suck at, well, that's what I want, because I want to get better at wrestling. Like, you don't get better at hitting home runs by not swinging the bat. So you should get excited to be in a position that you suck at. It makes you better. It makes you a better wrestler for it. And I know it's cliche. We say that kind of stuff all the time, but it's so easy to get caught up in like, I'm not getting takedowns. This is hard. I don't like this. I don't match up good with this guy. He's on my side of the bracket. This person got upset. I suck against him. It's easy to get into that route and be super negative.
I agree. And with the kids that I coach in soccer, you wind up getting, you see the body language on guys, even in a wrestling match, when something, especially when you're a ways into a match, something happens that they didn't want to, that they feared would happen. And you see the body language change, right? Like you see the arm slumping, or you see the head down further. But like, so coaching soccer and having a group of kids that come into a game, number one, that they probably lost last year. So some of them already have kind of a brain into it that this is going to be a hard game already, right? Like they have no idea. They haven't even started. The whistle isn't even blown yet, right? So they get down by a goal and you still have a half to play yet. And guys are now dropping their shoulders. That's as a coach, like just watching that as a coach is like, my God, you already gave up on yourself. Like you've already mentally given up, and it's hard to bring, not let alone one kid.
What if as a coach we could do what I just suggested though?
Correct.
He gave up on himself. Now it's time for me to coach. Now this is going to challenge me. You know, like what if we can get excited for like? I never really judge a coach by like a team of awesome kids. I instead of judging like a Big Ten school that gets really high level recruits, you know, okay, those kids are probably going to pan out. Pretty good at wrestling. What if it was like a Lock Haven, Cleveland State, Kent State, you know, and you get a kid that, you know, he was 4th, 5th, 6th in the state in high school, and you get him to the round of 12. You're a pretty good fucking coach. You know what I mean? That's how I've seen it, you know. So
yeah. So but that's kind of how I approach it with the kids once they're down, because I mean, I can individually call them over and be like, hey, dude, you got him coming right at you every single time he's just doing this, stop him. Then they get that one stop, you know, right? Then it starts to build from there, and then then the other kid sees it. So it all of it's infectious, right? So again, even as a coach in the corner, that's got to be tough. I mean, again, high intensity, it's a different intensity from soccer to wrestling. High intensity.
Sure, but I think a lot of the principles could be like translated pretty good. Like for sure, he gets the one stop. He gets the one stop, and it's infectious now, right? So I would say confidence. Actually, before I even say it, I'll ask the question. Where do most people say confidence comes from? They would say what?
Well, winning,
sure. Or like preparation. I would say a lot of people say they're confident from, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty common. Like, hey, if I study for the test, I'm confident on the test, right? Like that happens.
Yep.
So I've trained really hard before, and I've still been nervous. And I've always wondered, like, okay, why am I still nervous? Like, unsure if I'm going to win. Well, because the win is not guaranteed, right? So for me, a lot of people think, okay, I'll hit that move when I'm confident. Oh, I'm learning this new move. I'll throw legs in when I'm confident. And I think it should be the opposite. I think confidence is a reward you get from trying. So I throw legs in, I get reverse. I throw legs in again, I get reverse. I throw legs in again, I flatten them out.
Great way to
now
look
I'm confident.
Yep.
Now I'm confident. It's the same thing with like cliff jumping. Like if I'm on a cliff, right, and I jump into water, not a base jump, but just a regular cliff jump.
Yeah. Yep.
It's really high. I'm not confident. After I jump, though, totally vulnerable, totally insecure, and I hit the water, I come out of the water, I go, let's go again. Now I'm confident. Confidence is the reward you get from effort. So kids out there that are listening, don't wait till you're confident to do the move. Don't wait till you're confident to ask little shorty out, right?
Right.
Do it first. Get curved, get dumped.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a little bit more confident because I did it. I put myself out there. Right. That's what I think confidence is after effort, not before. You know, like that's a big part of it for me.
I agree. And with I think a lot of times the sight always gets lost, and I come back to this every single time. Parents lose sight, and then once the parents lose sight, the kids lose sight, right? Like the building blocks start from there. And I see it in soccer, not just wrestling. I see it in soccer too. It's the reason why kids get, and I think a lot of the mental disappointment comes from is because social media, kids see doing other kids doing these awesome things. And why can't I do that? Why, and then when they try to do it somewhere and it doesn't work, then there's the disappointment. Right. But at least, and I look at them and say, hey, at least you tried it. Because how are you going to know? Now you know what you got to fix. Now you go to the drawing, go back to work and figure out what you had to do the last time. So they get so disappointed because they're not the Pelés and the Diego Maradonas right away. They want to score 6 goals a game. They want to.
Do you think Maradona was better than Messi?
Oh, hands down.
Really?
Yes, I do. I think as a ball handler, I think he was 10 times better. I think
that's really the GOAT debate now, right? That's MJ LeBron.
It is. To me, I don't know if we want to go there, but to me, MJ is LeBron's won how many titles? How many championships?
It's a team sport, right? What about Bill Russell? He has 11. Is he?
What about
if we go by titles? If we go by titles, Bill Russell's the GOAT. Bill Russell's the GOAT.
Oh yeah, I put him up there. But I would not have LeBron. See, that's weird about basketball because I don't know enough either, so I shouldn't talk.
I know. I mean, either.
I don't know enough.
I always find it funny. This is just super little. Like we don't have to go into basketball much. I always find it funny though, like with LeBron, and MJ might be better. Whatever. But I always find it funny. LeBron is 4-6, I think, in the finals.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, let's say we took 6 of those losses, and in the finals, and instead of losing in the finals, he lost in the semis. Right? And he's 4 for 4.
Yeah.
But he didn't make it to the finals 6 other times. We would respect him more. Which is a weird. It's like, no, he made the finals. Like, that's sick. Like, it makes no sense that we do that. But we base it like, we're a very outcome-based society. Which in wrestling, when I talk to kids about like outcomes and stuff like that, like my biggest thing is surrender the outcome. I stole that from somebody in my life at some point, but surrender the outcome. And what that means is not that winning doesn't matter, but winning is almost like that crush that you have at school, where this is a stupid analogy, but if you let the crush know you like her, what happens? Oh, all of a sudden she doesn't really like you because you're too much. If you act like Mr. Cool, now all of a sudden you're mysterious and you're cool and the crush is into you and all that stuff. So it's like, if you are overly focused on winning, sometimes you don't do any moves and you freeze up.
Yeah.
And that's the crush, right? And if you don't let your crush know, if you're not thinking about winning and you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to eat good. I'm not going to think about the match right now. I'm going to eat good. Hey, I'm going to warm up. It's going to be a good warm up. I'm not going to think about the match. I'm going to warm up. And you continue to stay present, all up until you're already in the tie-up. And now it's like, I'm not thinking about the match anymore. I'm thinking about the tie-up. And you're present. All of a sudden, guess what happens? I'm willing to try moves. I'm not, stuck in the mud. If I shoot, he might score, she might score. I'm willing to do moves. And I think that's a really important thing, like not being outcome-based, at least as a competitor. Us as fans, we could be outcome-based, but as a competitor, I am so about surrendering the outcome and being focused on the present controllable moment. I can't control the outcome. I can control my warm-up. Focus on that. That's really important to me. I'm sorry, I'm getting fired up about this. But,
no, that's obviously that went around for a little bit, right? It's to me, I think that's obviously what's missing from a kid's brain. The thought process, whether it doesn't matter what sport, doesn't matter. Like you said, you could be going for that girl that you've been staring at for
right. Yeah, exactly. It's always about, am I gonna get rejected, and not, am I willing to put myself out there?
And that's a loss.
And that's the most important thing, because now that'll translate. Like, okay, here's what I love talking about. I used to always hear, don't take practice home with you. Lou Rosselli would always tell me that. And he's one of my favorite coaches I've ever had, right? Mm-hmm. But I never knew what that meant. I would always hear, like, if I got beat at practice, don't take it home with you. Like leave it here, leave Frank's here. But nobody really like opened it up and dissected it to me, right? Travell and me were talking one time, and he was basically like, well, what does that mean? What does don't take practice home with you mean? I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, well, what becomes a part of your personality is not the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't become a part of who you are as a man or your identity. Basically, me and Nathan Tomasello were similar weight classes. He was 25, I was 33. We'd wrestle every day. Now, let's say I was feeling really good, and I can get him today. I beat him. I would leave practice feeling sick.
Mm-hmm.
But the outcome doesn't go home with me. What does go home with me is the choices I led up to the outcome. Well, I shot one time. And then I did the whole, I lost my contact because I got really tired. And, my ankle kind of hurts. And, I'm, thumb blocking and backing up. And I won 2-1. I won 3-1. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
You think the win goes home with you? No. The win stays here. You know what goes home with you? You're a fucking, you're not willing to risk.
Yeah.
You're when it gets really uncomfortable, your ankle starts to hurt. You find a way, out. Like that stuff goes home with you. And
yeah,
on the flip side of that, if he beats me, if he kicks my ass, he beats me 10-2. But I shot 12 times. I put myself in wrestling positions. When I got really tired and the voices were talking and I was looking at the clock and I started being a clock watcher, guess what? I fucking shot again. Hey, guess what? That goes home with you. Not the loss. Right? That choice that you made to be a bad motherfucker, that becomes a part of who you are as a man. And the best thing about wrestling is every day we get to reset that. We get to reset that every single day. And it's really cool and it's really powerful that we have that as wrestlers. And not just wrestling, soccer has it, all these sports has it, but it's biased.
Yep.
Everything has it. And I really stress to these kids, as much as, the outcome matters in the sense of like your social currency. Hey, I won this tournament.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I would much rather you try wrestling moves and lose for your, I know I'm talking a lot right now, but I get so fired up by this. My best analogy
Mm-hmm.
is a casino versus a real world investment. Okay. For example, could I go to the casino and play craps right now and win $100 tonight? Yeah, maybe. It could happen. Could I do that for a full year and sustain winning the entire time? Probably not. So winning 2-1, doing 0 moves is like playing craps. I got away with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Doing moves, a million moves, putting myself in positions, trying new things, but coming up short, losing, would be like a real world investment. I just put my money in the crypto, in the stock market, in something, in real estate. Yeah. I didn't see the return today. I didn't see the win today, but I will in a year. So it's like the casino, I did 0 moves. The real world asset, I did a lot of moves, but I lost. But I get better at wrestling by trying moves. I don't get better at wrestling by trying gimmick ways to win in blackjack. You know what I mean? So that's like my best way I can put it out there. It's like, I'd rather you lose trying moves than win and sneak it trying no moves, even though I am under the impression that yes, winning matters. Like it's such a crazy, thing, because we want to win so bad. We want to win so bad. We don't want people to think we suck. But then we forget to try moves. And I did it. Everybody does it. If you're listening, don't fucking do it.
Don't do it.
Do moves.
Don't do it.
Put yourself in positions. The better guy is going to come out on top. The better guy or girl will come out on top in the wrestling move. Right? Put yourself in positions. Let's see what happens. That's the attitude.
And again, because kids want to be able to do things like instantly, and they want it to work the instant gratification type thing, where if it,
I can ride them out and I can win. It's like, or you can go get 10 takedowns and maybe win, but get better wrestling nonetheless.
Right. And the game changes, just talking about going from high school into college, the game is upped and now you have to be able to step up to that level and keep the mental capacity. That's what's kind of curious about the mental side, because every person handles it differently, but even like people that, like you, that had success already, that knew what it was like. Yeah, I had to go and work and do this, but then you got to the college room, you're like, oh shit. Okay. I got to do this, and this as well. Holy cow. Okay. But knowing what you knew going into college and obviously the life that you were already kind of living as far as, learning about how to diet properly once you got into college and
I
learning
didn't diet properly in college. I
you
wish I
didn't?
did better. No, I had bad habits from middle school and high
And
school
it carried
that I
through.
brought into college, and I was trying to starve my way down to weight. It was senior level.
Oh,
When I started doing Team USA stuff, that's
yeah.
when I was like, okay, I need to fucking do this right because I had
Right.
bad habits. I definitely had
Okay.
habits.
Okay, so that followed through into college. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can see it. I mean, it's not like it's odd, right? Like, I mean, what college guy isn't out there having a hard time with anything that they're doing with eating?
Yeah, for sure.
We're giving a shit about it, right? Like, whatever, I'll lose it. So when college, freshman year, I think you said 125. The sophomore year is when you went to 133.
Yeah, I had redshirted sophomore year, and then
Yep.
second sophomore year, junior year, I was 33 all the time. And then, yeah.
How was the red shirt season, and why did you red shirt?
Just moving up weight class. It was good.
Okay.
It was good. Just got some good open tournaments in, trained good. Was living with some non-wrestlers, which I don't think is the best idea. Not that like I'm not a party, right? I don't drink and whatnot, but in general, just a clash of lifestyles. They're rolling in at 5 a.m. eating pizza. I'm getting up for a 6 a.m. workout. Like it's just a clash of lifestyles. It is good, however, I don't want people to distract themselves from wrestling. There's a good balance. I need to be all in, but I also need a life outside of wrestling where I can like reset my brain if I need to.
Yeah.
So Tom Ryan actually said this to me one time. This was I was figuring out where I wanted to go to college. I was pretty young, like a sophomore, and I forget who had reached out to me at the time, like Iowa State. I think I was talking to Kerry McCoy at Maryland a little bit, like different colleges. David Taylor was actually texting me, not Kale. It was David at Penn State. But I think
on the payroll.
I'm assuming it was indirectly through Kale, like maybe like some legal thing. I don't know. I'm probably snitching on somebody right now accidentally. I apologize.
But the first no, it's not odd. It's not
odd. When I was kind of like thinking about where should I go, Tom said, if you broke your leg, God forbid, and could never wrestle again, would you still want to be there? And I kind of like asked myself, okay, Iowa State. Some people love the country. They love the open air. They like I know Ames is more of a city than other, but that's just not me. I do like a city. I like being able to go to a comedy club, a movie theater. I like going to, see friends that are in an apartment complex right next door. Like I like the fast paced. Oh, there's shopping, there's restaurants. Like I like that.
Yeah.
I just do. So for me, when he asked me that, it's like, you know what? That does matter. It does matter because if I need, I'm going to be the best version of myself on the mat if I am, not feeling like it's a chore.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yep. If I'm only at the college, only for the chore, then it's going to drag. It's going to be like, I'm going to wrestle. It's like, people think of it as like, no, you got your blinders on and you're no. For me, it wasn't like that. Right. For me, it was like, I need to enjoy the quality of life and I'll work hard for you. I don't drink. I don't party. I promise you, I'm not trying to distract myself. I just want to be able to shut it down when I am overloaded from practice and go play some blackjack at the casino. Go do something where I can go entertain myself for a little bit. Like it's important to me, And I really like that he asked me that question because that really helped me come to Ohio State.
Knowing because with Liam having gone through the process and I have a friend that I talk to quite a bit, Jamie Nelson, and he was telling me the same thing. He's like, you have to look at it because not only are you going to school and wrestling there, but you're living there.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So he's like, he has to like the environment. Like they visited Ohio State, things like that. And he's like, you have to be able to be comfortable of like on Saturday, you're going to go do stuff, right? Like stuff. And you have to be able to be like, oh yeah, I can go right over here. I love it. You can go right over here. This is great. Exactly. You're going to have something to complain about everywhere. But we got Joe Williamson listening.
Hey.
He's pretty excited about probably, I would say, getting out and doing stuff because
that's my guy. Over.
He's all over.
What an OG, man. That's my guy.
If it wasn't for Joe, I probably wouldn't be doing a podcast.
If it wasn't for Joe, there'd be no wrestling media. Period. Freaking trendsetter, man.
Some of those old videos, watching some of the old Flow stuff, man, that is some of the best stuff on the planet. Him and Joe Cania, those guys, I tell you what, man, if I had met Joe, Williamson, I probably, like I said, you damn right there, Joe. I probably wouldn't be doing a podcast, but if I hadn't met the other Joe K, I probably wouldn't be doing it still.
Yeah, totally. I feel you. Joey K, man, that's the guy. He's awesome.
I know.
Yeah. So how's you with him? I know he's Jersey. How do you know him?
So I actually had him on. We were talking a little bit about some stuff over Twitter and just kind of, I can't remember if it was about Flow or whatever it was about. We were just talking about stuff on Twitter. I was like, man, I want to get you on the show. You're just kind of knowing about the stuff that he'd been with Flow. I was like, all right, this is wrestling. Plus the media done before and
his I can't say much, but his project that he's working on.
Oh, I know so much about that.
Good. Yeah. Cool. It'll be cool.
It's going to be fun. And Joe is Joe K is one of those guys that running into him and like talking to him to get a completely different perspective on things. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about this community as far as wrestling. It's a small community, but there are so many intelligent people, and there's some dumb people too, but there's so many intelligent people in this group that especially going with Liam down to Virginia, knowing the networking that you can do with a lot of the people that are in the sport. It's fantastic. And there are going to be people you like, people you don't like, but it's probably and I've been in the dog world training dogs with Labrador retrievers. That is just a strange world on the side of its own, right? This is probably one of the most energetic and I would say unique small worlds of all of them, right? Of all the small worlds you can be in. And I think the world's about to blow up a little bit more with wrestling. I think it's going to hurt a little bit, but I think it's going to have a whole different look once everything kind of comes out with this NCAA stuff. But I digress, right?
Maybe I'm not tuned to what's going on.
So, obviously, about the House versus NCAA versus House, whichever one it is. The $2.8 billion settlement that they had with, I think, athletes from 2017 to present, as far as NIL deals, things like that. So all of that is going through.
Why does it just start in 17? I was 16. What the frick? Wait, you cut out audio. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear anything you're saying. There you go.
Yeah, I hit something. It's my fault. But with the NCAA, all that stuff that's going on with, because sports are going to start getting eliminated because schools have to pay into this $2.8 billion deal, right? So it's getting kind of scary.
Fucking NIL, man. Oh.
Yeah. Okay, don't get me wrong. I applaud the kids that were able to grab some cash, right?
Right. Yeah. Like I want kids to get paid. Yeah. But it has not become that. It has become an extension of scholarships. Yes. And it is manipulated by coaching staffs. It's not the car dealership down the street wants your picture for their image and likeness on a billboard. Like that's not what it is.
Correct.
It's turning into, hey, we're this school over here. We have some money and we can't give you a scholarship, but we can give you millions of dollars. Come to our school. It's like, what?
So everybody
how is Bloomsburg going to compete with this? Like, how are these teams going to, like, this is crazy. It's a social stratification. Like, it's just, it's the Hunger Games is what it is. It's District 12. District 12 has to fight for food and scraps. Yeah. District 1 is literally training tribunes to fight in the Hunger Games as trained killers, and then they get thrown into the same test. How is that fair?
You hear about Campbell? What happened with Campbell University?
They cut their scholar. What they cut?
They cut all their scholarships. They had 3 kids that were on scholarships, and they basically, okay, this is just a synopsis. Basically said they weren't going to be able to compete that season.
Oh, wow.
So they essentially cut out. Now I'm not throwing shade. There's a lot of beef going on Twitter. I'm not throwing shade towards the athletic director there or anything like that. They had to.
Yeah, I did see Sentez, and then we're like defending.
Yes, and I'm going to get Scotty on too. He said he was willing to come on. We're going to get him on too. But yes, they were defending the athletic director because they were being told. I mean, she's only the athletic director, right? Because the schools are the ones that are being told that they have to pay this money. Now they can open up their scholarships to every person that's on the roster, right? But the NCAA just had roster cuts. So a football team has 135, they're going to go to 105. Wrestling's only
30.
30. Correct, across the board. But they're like, you can give scholarships to whoever you want. Caveat, the school can give the money to whatever sport they want. So obviously you're going to give your money to a sport that's high revenue, right? Football, basketball. We were talking about the importance before. So we are going to see programs most likely being nixed. Now, this is something that colleges wanted before in the first place.
This sucks.
Right?
You know, make me upset.
Well, and it's all, again, it's because of NIL, because everybody wanted, I should be getting paid this. You will. Would you just let them work something out? But
I think NIL simultaneously with the transfer portal is a dangerous combo. I don't want kids to be stuck in a place. I get it. You need to be able to leave. If I get it. Like, I'm not saying like, hey, you made a decision, you can change the decision. A coach can leave at any time. I understand. Yeah. But I also think when they're jumping ship because they're getting more money somewhere else, and then they're taking that and they're taking away from the program that maybe built them up to be able to get that money. Like, sometimes it makes me question if those small programs are going to be around long, and eventually there's only going to be 30 teams that are profitable, and there's going to be only 30 teams that are left.
Well, and they're talking about schools having to possibly, and this is not anything that's on paper yet, but they're talking about schools possibly having to cut down to 8 sports. I mean, that's how far this is going with this. Like, I don't know, and that's why
per gender, like.
I think again, I believe so. I think because if you cut a men's sport or whatever, you can cut a woman's. However, that Title IX stuff, I don't know how it works exactly.
Oh boy,
I'm on the outside and I get information, but I do minimal research. I like reading court documents and stuff like that. I get frustrated and I get upset because of how you're feeling the same way.
Jesus.
Liam is just starting to get into it. I have questions. How's this what's going to turn into this for him? Yeah. I'm not going to college, so like I don't have that aspect of it, but I just I asked and these guys don't know either. Like I'm asking stupid questions for something that they can't even answer yet.
Right.
Because they don't know. But I was like, dude, what's going to happen? Like if FAFSA gets wiped away, with the Department of Education, like what's going to happen? Like
you're giving me existential crisis right now.
And my kid hasn't even gotten to college yet.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure this out. Like
I don't even have a kid yet. All I want him to do is wrestle.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hopefully it's leveled out by then where you'll be back in the mix where your kid's he'll have the after effects and maybe it won't be that bad.
Right.
Joe makes a good point. You're getting richer. It's going to be tough. A smaller school kid, all Americans, they're gone. Yep.
Literally, man. Sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. But that's what's going on right now. I know there are some certain things that have been somewhat finalized, but they still called it preliminary for some reason. So I'm not sure. We'll find out the exact specifics. But back to Johnny. Lighter news, Johnny. Okay. When did you get into base jumping? When did all this start?
Yeah, so I was talking this. So I'm 18. I had just turned 18, July 5th, 2010.
Okay.
And 5 days later, July 10th,
yep.
My dad, at the time was like, hey, what are you going to do for your birthday? Obviously, you're not going to go party. You don't party. Yeah. I said, well, maybe what's something I can do when I'm 18? Like, well, I guess legally I could skydive. My mom went when she was still alive. She was skydiving. Maybe I'll do like a tandem. Tandem, for those listening, means strapped to another person that is a professional. So I go tandem. I love it. It was great. A month or two later, I go back with my buddy Ty that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
We both go, right? I did maybe like one more tandem. So I did like 3. And I went to the same place every time. One of the workers goes, dude, you're wasting your money. Like, you should try to get your license. It's 25 jumps, and you have your own parachute, but we hold you in the sky, and then you open your parachute, we let you go, and you're basically skydiving alone for 25 jumps, and you're learning how to fly your body. So I did that. Boom. That led to me having my skydiving license. Now I can do whatever I want. Hundreds of jumps later, I understand. Yeah, I'm getting to that, Joe. Hundreds of jumps later, somebody comes up to me and goes, hey, there's this event called Bridge Day in West Virginia. Bridge Day is an event where there's hundreds of thousands of people come watch us jump off a bridge in West Virginia. And BASE is an acronym. It stands for Building, Antenna, Span, and Earth. Span is bridges, Earth is cliffs.
Okay.
And basically, the difference between skydiving and base jumping is just you're jumping off of that fixed object as opposed to an aircraft. Now, the dangers are you're a lot closer to the ground, so it's a lot less time. There's no reserve shoot. Yeah. you know, when you're base jumping, if you're doing something, it's usually illegal. It's at night. It's in a city. There's power lines. There's crosswinds coming up the alleys of all these different cities. It gets gnarly, right?
Wrestling prepared you for that.
Yeah. So I did my first base jump and a bridge. Now a bridge, this would kind of fall into what Joe's talking about.
Yeah.
A bridge is what we would call a forgiving object because as an object, you have people think like the parachute opened. Oh my gosh, thank goodness. That's like the least of my thoughts. I don't think about that at all. And not because I'm not scared, I'm terrified. When I'm terrified of those, a lot of different things.
Sure. Yeah.
The gear is designed to work. It's gonna work. It'd be like me worrying about my parachute opening would be like you worrying, is my brake gonna work if I apply the brake pressure on the brake? Like it's happened, but that's not the fear. The fear is, how does it open? We have on-heading openings. Then we have off-heading openings, which means the direction I'm jumping, body position, wind, something gives it a 90 left, 90 right, or a 180. Now, if you have a 180-degree opening on a bridge, that's okay. You have nothing behind you. You can just circle out from under the bridge.
True.
Well, if you're on a cliff, that's a bad day, right? That's a bad day.
Right.
So I'm on this cliff in the superstitions called the ramp, because we built a ramp up there to give us a little bit of separation from the cliff.
Yeah.
Right? So if you think about it, like inertia-wise, I jump off a cliff. A lot of people think the closer you are to the ground, the scarier it is. But really, the closer you are to the ground, the farther you are away from the object. Right? That's the thing. So it's not always like the closer to the ground, the more dangerous. Sometimes it's the opposite. I took what we call a weak delay, which weak meaning not weak, WEA. Like it was not strong. Took a weak delay. I ran off this cliff. Took like a 2-second delay. Probably could have got another second out of it, which would have given me more separation.
Right.
On my open. 180 on opening. Bad pack job, bad body position, whatever it was. It wasn't a lot of wind that day. I open. I'm facing the cliff. Now I only have about a second and a half until I hit. So I reach up, I grab my steering toggles. It's called popping toggles. I grab and I just immediately impact the cliff. Now in Arizona, it's sandstone, right? A lot of sandstone. And while I'm fighting off this wall, I'm like just, two-stepping down this thing. It's just cheese grated my parachute. Oh, no. I finally turn off, and you see in the video, I look up and I go, oh, I shredded my fucking canopy. A canopy is a parachute. I shredded my fucking canopy. Fuck. And now this cliff that I was on, the ramp, is 500 feet to impact. Yeah. Like a rock drop, meaning like impact. But when I open, there's like a talus. So I still have to fly. It's maybe like 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet to the landing area where it's flat. So when I turn off, I have all these holes in my parachute. Yeah. And now I'm losing so much altitude over that talus where I'm not going to outfly it, right? And there's all these chibi rocks all around, like all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to outfly this talus. Right. If I hit these chibi rocks, if my chute gets caught, that's the best case scenario, right? Like if it doesn't get caught and my parachute collapses and like loses pressure, I'm gonna hit the ground from 100 feet high. Like it's a bad day, and fortunately I fly right into a rock. Mm-hmm. It gets draped up, it catches, and I'm hanging there for a minute, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like something has to be broke. My leg, my ankle, something broke, right? Yeah. So I ungear because I don't trust that it's gonna hang, and I kind of like shimmy on like Spider-Man, onto the wall, and I'm hanging onto the rock. And a minute goes by, 10 minutes goes by, and nothing really hurts. And I'm like, I think I'm okay. Like I think I'm good. Like this is crazy. Wow. I had service somehow. I call a buddy. They're all hiking up to try to find me. Yeah. And they asked me if I wanted to call rescue. And I'm like, I can't be that motherfucker. It was like during COVID. Like people are in the hospital and shit. I'm not going to be that motherfucker.
Yeah.
That takes a bed from some old dude that needed it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that.
Look at you out there thinking you're about to die on the cliffside. And you're like, listen, I don't want to bug someone.
It's that virtuous, I'm just, this is the kind of guy I am, But no, I'm thinking like, if I needed search and rescue, I'm not against it. It's just, right. I was good. But
you knew, yeah.
I was good. But I'm still 50 feet above the ground, And this sandstone is like just fucking, it's not great grip. So about an hour goes by, and this guy named David finally hikes up to me and sees me. He finally, because it was a very like, weird area to get to me.
Okay.
He finds me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start climbing down now. I don't want to climb and fall, break my leg, and have nobody there. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wait till David gets here. Boom, I start climbing down. I get like 15 feet over the ground, and this like little nook that I was in just gets really wide. I couldn't really wedge myself in. I'm gonna have to jump. So I jumped like it felt like 1,000,000 feet. It was probably like 10 feet or less.
Oh.
I jump, I hit the ground. I'm okay. Give him a big hug. Love you, bunch of love yous.
Jesus.
And I jumped the next day. So.
Holy shit. That's so, I mean, honestly, because, and I've been in situations like not that, but I've been in situations where you're more focused on just staying alive, right? Like you're not thinking about how high you are, whatever it is. You're just focused. Okay, what do I gotta go? Where am I? What do I gotta do? Frantic.
You know what's good though? You know what's good about wrestling? That outcome based thing again. Like when you're in the middle of a wrestling match, you're not thinking like you're thinking about the result before you step on the mat. Dude, I want to win. Sure. Oh shit, I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. That's how it is when a base jumping. Fuck man, I don't want to. Like this is stupid. Why am I even doing this? This is fucking dumb. But then when you get in the match and you're like in a hand fight and you're in a shot, you're not thinking about like minute number 6 and oh dude, I'm gonna get my hand raised. You're thinking like I better fucking score. Yeah. That's all you're thinking about. I better get out on bottom. I better I'm only in the match now. And when I'm base jumping, I'm not thinking about living and dying. I'm thinking about like, okay, I gotta turn right now. Oh, I gotta turn left right now. Oh, I gotta, right. Whatever it is. And I gotta bleed some altitude off right now. I'm really high or whatever it is. So that's a really cool, parallel where you're hyper present.
Yeah.
And that's why that's how No Tomorrow got started. I don't know if you looked into any of that, but I own a brand called Live No Tomorrow.
Okay.
And basically, it doesn't be go jump off buildings and be suicidal, right? That's not what it is. What it is more like, hey, what makes you feel present? Now go fucking attack it. Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to give up disciplines of tomorrow and be, irresponsible today. But it means if your goal is to be an actor, is to go start a brand, is to start a podcast, is to start, your bakery TikTok shop. I don't care. Go fucking do it. Live for tomorrow. Stop thinking one day I'll do it. One day I'll do it. Do it. Go fucking do it. And for me, that happens to be something that's very high risk, right? Yeah. And base jumping is not my No Tomorrow, actually. Base jumping is something I love and it's very fun. Yeah. Traveling in general I feel so present. Like when I'm in the Philippines or I'm in Brazil or I'm in Italy, like if I'm doing something that is just with a different culture, with a motherfucker that don't speak English, like that to me, I am like high on cocaine. Like I am so happy in that moment. That is my Live No Tomorrow. I am nowhere else in the world except that moment. And that's such an important thing. So traveling is more than base jumping and wrestling more than traveling, most likely. But, you can't wrestle forever, so we got to find some shit.
Have you thought about putting shoes back on to wrestle something?
So I wrestled. I did a quad after I graduated.
Yeah.
Through 2020, and then I go up to Cleveland State quite a bit, and I train.
Okay.
Where I can wrestle with college level guys. So I'm still ashamed, feel good, but I'm 32, and I travel full time. Like this summer, I went to like 20 countries.
You're everywhere right now.
Yeah, it's hard to give that up, to be honest.
Right.
Like being able to see the world is a really unique opportunity. It's hard to give that up. So
I agree. Yeah. I agree. And I'm not doing the world, but like after doing these college visits, my wife and I are like, we should just get like one of those camper vans.
It's a blast, man. It's a blast.
And just start traveling around.
I did van life in Switzerland for a little bit. It was great. Nice. Yeah, Italy, Switzerland. Dude, like it's rough because you just rough it, but it's fucking it's the best.
Yeah. There's a generator hooked up to it. What's rough? And I still got a flat screen TV and a stove and a sink in there. I'm good.
I meant like lacking of showering.
That's right. Yeah. No, I'm not going without that. That's not rough. No. I'm not roughing it that way. Sorry.
Right.
I'm 45. I can't do that anymore. You can do that. That's cool. But so you had, I looked at you. I did look up your college career. Your college career is pretty good. I mean, you were wow, what 4 times you went to the national the tournament, right?
Yeah. I'm
what are your feelings
pretty
on
insecure about my college career, to be honest. Like I always felt like I always felt like I was better than my results showed. Like I beat,
okay,
you know, a lot of national champs.
Yeah.
I beat the number one seed. I beat the number one seed in my bracket, sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Yeah.
I beat Hodge Trophy winners after they won Hodge, right? Like I beat world bronze medalists, but I don't have any like accolades to show for it, which kind of goes against what I'm talking about earlier, surrender the outcome. Like it's your choices that make up who you are as an identity. Mm-hmm. I still believe in all that. But when I do these podcasts and I do like different wrestling clinics, it is nice to have like credibility result wise. And I do struggle. Like I find myself better than what I have to show for. And yeah, it bothers me.
And I get it. As a competitor, I understand. But I do know that, a lot of times, and I can attest this. I mean, I wasn't an awesome athlete, but I feel like my coaching abilities are 10 times better. Right?
For sure. Like if you win everything, you're not a good coach. You have to fuck up sometimes so you know how I can spot a fuck up, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that's why I do JV. We're the development side. We're not of course, the varsity coach wants to win. Like we went out like 2 games early out of the season. We're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what are we doing? But I like the development side. I'm a big fan of kids understanding and getting a perspective of not just how do I win or do better here, but how do I do better in general? Like you said, building on things and the building blocks are important. And I love watching kids get a grasp of those building blocks. You don't have to be, and I don't know how many national champions are coaches right now, but not all of them. Is it a great accolade to have?
Definitely. Some of the best, coaches are it's interesting when you're really successful. Sometimes you have this like, this is how I did it, so this is how it has to be done, and that could be an Achilles heel as a coach, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas I would like to think it's, hey, this is how I did it. Let's figure out what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at people that are really successful, one thing that they have in common is sometimes they have nothing in common. They're messy people and super organized people, and they've been successful.
Yep.
There's people that wake up early and people that sleep in and get workouts later in the day that are successful. So I think, being able to be a coach, not me, but just coaches in general, that, okay, let's not make broad rules that everybody must follow, but let's it's an individual sport. Let's make this individual. Let's be circumstantial per athlete, and I think it can be really powerful.
Big time. I agree. So let's go ahead and jump. You've recently done a film.
I have.
So, and I know some people obviously know about it already, but there's a lot of people that I don't think do. I know about it, but what's the film called?
All right, so this film is called Unstoppable. Kind of give you my short little summary of how I got into it. So, long story short, after college wrestling was over, after Team USA stuff was over, when I was done competing like RTC wise, I just always had a passion for travel. Travel led to being super adventurous. The skydiving, the base jumping, I just kind of coupled into that. That led to being social media wise. Hey, I post some base jumps. They do pretty well, right? Hey, I can see some money on YouTube. I can see some money on TikTok. Getting millions of views. And then not only that, but being close with Jake Paul. Just so how I know him, he wrestled in Ohio. I was at Ohio State. He was a little high school wrestler. We stayed close. Now he's Jake Paul now, and we're still close friends, right? We're close. We talk every day, right? Like we have a group chat, me and his few roommates. We talk every single day. I was with him this morning. So when I started to like understand, that's not really the industry, but social media is like as close to like the Hollywood industry as like other things could get.
Yeah.
I started to really like, put my foot out there more of wanting to be on camera and do things, as maybe narcissistic as that sounds, it's fun. It's a fun time. It's fun to be creative. It's fun to be entertaining. It's fun. Right.
Yep.
And, I don't find it wrong to like appreciate affirmation. I will say before I even get to the movie, there's one thing where I did make a rule for myself. So I posted a video of a skydive one time out of a hot air balloon. It got everywhere. Sports Center, Barstool, like all these accounts and posting it. Wow. So I was coaching at Harvard at the time, and I was so excited. I was so excited to leave practice early
to look
at my phone. And it got to the point where I was not living normal. I was giving up the present moment to go attack like this virtual world that doesn't matter, to read comments, right?
Yep.
Because I was getting so much traction. So I made a rule for myself. It's okay to appreciate affirmations. Hey, comments, people saying stuff, Joe Schmo from Kansas. That's fine. You can appreciate affirmations, but not at the expense of what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And not at the expense of, do you like that more than you like actually skydiving itself? Right? Like that's my rule.
Yeah.
So if I'm not doing anything, I do something cool, I share it, I post it, and I'm just chilling. I'm in the car, I'm just looking at my phone.
Yeah.
Like that's okay to appreciate, all the attention.
Yeah.
But if I'm giving up things to do that, that's not okay. You know what I mean? That's not okay.
Yeah.
So,
Present.
So I'm starting to really appreciate this world where I see on social media they're looking for extras in a movie that are wrestlers.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm like, fuck, let's do this. Let's see what I'm a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Send an email, cold email, just email the director, right? This director won an Oscar. He's a good director. Not for directing. He won it for editing. He edited Argo.
Yeah.
He edited Zero Dark 30. He edited Heat, which Heat is like one of my favorite movies. He did The Breakfast Club. He did Spider-Man Homecoming. He's done a lot of stuff. First time directing, and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are producing. Artist Equity is the production company, and the story is about Anthony Robles, one-legged wrestler from Arizona State, wins the Nationals. He beats in the finals Matt McDonough. Matt McDonough is kind of this Ivan Drago character who was the returning national champ, Iowa villain type, right?
Yep.
Well, I wrestled Matt McDonough in college, so I say that in my email. I wrestled McDonough. And I kind of I juiced it up a little bit. Like I had done some extra stuff in movies before. I've had lines, but all independent. And it was just for fun, for friends that I had in LA. Nothing like no big actors or nothing. But I put that in there, just because, right?
It helps, yeah. Why not?
Director hits me up. He's like, yo, can we get on Skype? Or not Skype, sorry, Zoom. Skype doesn't exist anymore. Zoom. I would love for you to audition. So we get on, and this motherfucker's having me do like stance of motion in this room. I do stance of motion right here in my socks. He had me do stand up on the wall. I'm like, guys, like, I've beaten Jason Ness before. Like,
I better get this.
Really want me doing this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he hangs up. They call me a couple days later. They go, hey, we would love to offer you the part of Matt McDonough. Like, nice. Great, right? Great.
Yeah.
And then they go, who's your agent we can send your offer to? I'm like, shit. Right? Yeah. I'm like, oh, shit. So I go, I'm in between agencies right now. Just send it to me. You can just send it right to me. So boom. Extended me a nice little offer. Now this is a SAG movie, so I'm like, SAG eligible now, like all that stuff. Don Cheadle's playing a coach. Anthony Robles is played by this kid named Jarrell Jerome. Jerome won an Emmy. There's a TV show about these 5 black kids in New York City that get police brutality in like the 80s. It's called Central Park 5. It's like a famous story. Yeah. Yep. It's huge, right? And the show is called When They See Us. Now Jarrell won an Emmy for that show. He's like a really good actor, right?
Okay.
Michael Pena is in it. He's from Fury. Yep. He's great. Lot of big, we got the director obviously, and I was getting ready to go, and then boom, actor strike happened.
Shit.
Yeah. So fast forward, I'm in like 6 months later, I'm in Lusaka, Zambia, all the way in Africa. Yeah.
This dude.
Okay, and I get a phone call. I get a phone call from the production, and they're like, dude, strike just ended. When can you be in LA? So I fucking flew from Lusaka, Zambia to Los Angeles. That's like a 17-hour flight, right? And I get there and I'm like, let's go. And and we ended up filming, we wrapped, and it's premiered. It's trending good right now. It releases December 6th in theaters, but it's like a select theater release. To qualify for if there could be Oscar contention, because J-Lo gives a really good performance. She's Anthony's mom in the movie.
Really?
And J-Lo, she does a really good job.
Wow.
And she it's not just wrestling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drama in his home life. So, my character has a good amount of screen time, but I'm not like the the main antagonist.
No.
It's like his own home life is his antagonist, and I happen to be the wrestler that he wrestles, in the third act. That's really what it is.
Right.
And and then it's gonna be fun.
Dude, so did you have to get your ears extra cauliflowered?
No, they did get Don Cheadle. So people listening, Don Cheadle is War Machine, Tony Stark's best friend in Iron Man. And you guys probably know who I'm talking about. He's Rhodey. He's been in Hotel Rwanda. He's been in Crash. He's been in Ocean's 11, 12, 13. He's a brilliant actor. One of my favorites. Grew up watching him.
Yep.
They gave him cauliflower ear. It was pretty cool. So me and him, we had every scene together. Me and Don, and our chairs were next to each other for the month that was on set, and it was great. So we got to chop it up quite a bit.
So you got some great experience doing that, but at the same time though too, like now that broadens your horizons. I mean, what are there other things you're looking at now too?
I would love to stay in that. That was like the most fun I've ever had in my life. It made me not want to base jump because I didn't want to get hurt. Like it was like that. It was probably a good thing for me. You know what I mean? Like base jumping is like people look at it like it's a death wish, it's a drug addiction. To me, it's there's so much beauty in it and like all this like creativity that I can have, and it is dangerous and we have inherent risk. So it's not this death wish to me. I love living. I do not want to die. I do not want to die. Right. But I understand
that in the video. Yeah.
I understand the narrative that it plays, but also I really do want to, continue to pursue, possibilities in acting. Maybe I could be an MMA fighter in some movies. Maybe being in a SAG film, with this magnitude, you never know what kind of doors are going to open. So we'll see.
I think because your creativity, I think there's a lot of things you can accomplish and do.
I hope so, man. I did an independent film, actually. I got to put my phone in the charger. It's about to die. I did an independent film about a month ago, small budget thing, but just to keep, in the area, which is good.
So that's good. And again, I don't do, after seeing just your obviously viral clip with those kids, and I watched that.
Oh, the speech.
The speech. Seeing that's what kind of drew me towards you a little bit more. And like I said, I try to find guys that have something to offer as far as just a personality. Because I mean, not everybody that you talk to is able to articulate a story, and not everybody that you talk to has a story. Maybe there's a lot of stuff they don't want to share.
I do. Again, I'm only as good as the people around me because I steal from them. So my dad's a good speaker, and I've had dope coaches and friends that I can steal cool anecdotes from, and that's why I can articulate well at all. So it's not me. It's people like Joe, Joe in the comments, both the Joes. People like them. Steal from everybody.
And that's why I love doing this. Bringing guys like you out to be so people can hear everything, right? Like I said, just to get the whole story, not just part of the story. Because I think I listen to a lot of different podcasts.
Yeah.
And it's great information. It's not that they suck. It's just like, I want to do that one where it's just about them. I just want it to be about them all the way through, because all the stories that come up with that you don't get time to talk to somebody about at a tournament, right?
Definitely.
And you don't want to bother people. That's how I am most of the time at a tournament. I don't want to bother that guy. Usually you're here because it's business, right? Like it's fun being at a tournament, but that's business time, right? Like you're coaching a guy or you're competing kind of thing. I don't want to bother someone. So this is a place where people can come and listen to that stuff. But Joe does have another question here.
But wrestling, best advice for me to support. I've been sent back so far. I mean, dude, you've been a part of the sport as long as I have. I think that, the advice I can give you is you can give me better advice than I can give you, in my opinion. But if I were to offer something, I would always go back to what Lou Roselli always said to my dad. You be a dad at home, you let your coach be the coach at practice. And I think that's the best thing that he could do. But yeah, when I do these clinics, I have like 5 things, maybe 4 things that are important to me. Yeah. And skill and technique is 4th. The first 3 are, and here's why. The first 3 are, is he having fun? Is she having fun? Are they relating to the stuff? And are they finding ways to fall in love with wrestling? Then it's, did they get better? Did they get skill? Did they learn moves? Did they whatever? Did they work hard? And the reason being is because if they don't do the first 3, they won't learn anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then it's just a dictatorship. And I'm telling you what to do. So I really try to bring fun into wrestling. Be loose. listen, we're going to have I hate my life days where I'm doing sprints, you know? And if I can understand why that's important as opposed to just being fucking whipped into doing it, I think that's a lot more beneficial. Like if I can get excited to go to practice, like, dude, I'm going to practice, I'm going to play dodgeball. Like coaches that are listening, not Joe, obviously, but other coaches that are listening that don't play games at practice, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, I'll be blunt. Like, you need to make the practice fun. And guess what? Wrestling isn't always fun. Wrestling's fucking hard. It's a really hard thing to do, to wrestle. It sucks sometimes. I love it. I love the suck. I love it. Yeah. But it's fucking hard. We have to be able to make it fun. We have to be able to enjoy it. We have to have a smile. You're not able to suffer for something that you dislike. You're able to suffer for something that you love. And if you could find ways to fall in love with, I don't have to love sprints. I don't have to love losing. I don't have to love cutting weight, but I love putting my foot on the line and seeing what happens. I love being on the bus, playing cards. I love, waking up and making fun of the freshmen when I'm a junior and I'm in high school and whatever. But fucking find a way to fall in love with wrestling. And the rest will follow. The hard work will follow.
We had a couple of practices where I wrestled some kids. This was at youth, and then I actually trained again to wrestle in a tournament.
Sweet.
And I'll never forget when I my first practice back in my 30s or something like that. And it was at that point where I was telling Liam, I was like, you need to toughen up like this. You need to, certain things need to suck up. Right. And I wound up going to like 2 or 3 practices. I went home. I told my wife, was like, don't ever fucking tell our kids that this sport is
right.
Ever. Don't
like
ever tell them that.
There's a way to say like, hey, you can give more here, you can give more there.
Sure. Don't ever tell them it's not hard.
But the disconnect happens like that.
It
like
is.
I remember it being so much easier than it was. It was so fucking hard.
Good,
so as coaches, we'll just be like, oh, dude,
yeah,
you got to run. You got to lose weight, go run. But when you're doing it, it's like there's nothing I want to do less right now than move my body. It's so fucking hard.
It is.
It's so hard. It's like we're saying it from a place of comfort. It's so easy to say. Then all of a sudden, discomfort's introduced, and you're like, wow. It's a whole Dunning-Kruger effect, right? Like
It is
fucking insane.
That's right. It is. And that's why I always say, because I wasn't that good at wrestling. I didn't put that much effort into it. I can't equate how it feels like you guys can, I can't do it just because I didn't put that much into it, knowing, and I did into soccer, but that was a team sport, right? Like I was also playing with 5 other guys in the field. You're by yourself, man. Like you're getting the crap beat out of you. And that's why a lot of these stories, I've had other guys on that one of the guitarists from Red Clay Strays, he didn't wrestle, but he played football. And I like equating all sports into this. Obviously Vision Quest is more of a wrestling thing, but
it's kind of fitting that like Vision Quest podcast and like the next wrestling film, it's like, it's kind of cool. I just put that together. I don't know why. Like it's cool.
So that's kind of, I have tried to keep it a mix because every sport has its own quest, right? Like every athlete is trying to do their own thing. So dude, you've been on here for almost 2 hours. It's been great. Honestly, it's felt like it's been.
Let's do it again, man. I would love to do it again.
I will definitely.
I feel like we spark noted a lot of middle school, high school, college, and even post college. Yep. And we could really get into some stuff. I think
for sure. And that's the other thing too. Is like I've got plenty of guys that have been on here a couple times, 2, 3 times. That's what this is about, right? Continuing conversation, and it's always, to me, it helps me clarify my mind a little bit. I've been off for a while, right? Like I gotta get off Twitter, dude. Like I gotta go away or something. It's gotten, and I don't get super political. I have, my thoughts on certain things.
It's hard right now, right? It's hard right now. Yeah.
And because I'm impulsive, so I don't shut my mouth, right?
Open my mouth. It's sad, how both parties are very mean to each other, and I wish it was nicer.
So far opposites, right? Like just literally just let's talk.
Yeah, and I get pushed. Whoever I'm around, I get pushed away. Like, when I'm in the small town wrestling community, I'm like, dude, I don't want to hear another fucking conspiracy about how hurricanes are fake. Do not tell me a shit. And then when I'm in the city and I'm more like with my liberal friends, then it's like, bro, I don't want to hear anything from you. I just want to hear nothing.
Keep your wokeness away. Stay away.
Yeah,
please.
like
Thank
fucking
you. Go over there. But it's been awesome, dude. We'll definitely get you back on. I know we do have Catherine Shy. We got to get her back on. She's going to be on. Dude,
she's great, huh?
She's awesome. That Luca fit she's doing, it's great. What do you got coming up? You got any shout outs or anything like that? Anything you got coming up soon?
Camps? I don't think I'm traveling. Oh, I have a lot of camps coming up, but nothing. I think it's just a bunch of high school like teams are having me in. But there's nothing really major except to go watch Unstoppable coming up in January 16th. It releases on Amazon Prime, so that's probably when most people are gonna be able to watch it.
Yes,
so, and then also, Live No Tomorrow. That's my biggest shout out. Live No Tomorrow. Do cool stuff. Even if you're not purchasing it from me, go live it yourself. Go do so. Actually, before we go, let's end with that. What would your No Tomorrow be? What makes you feel the most present? That gets you fired up. Like you're a kid. Tomorrow you're waking up to go to Disney World, and you have your Disney outfit picked out the night before. Like, what are you drooling at? Tell me what it is that makes you feel the most present at age 45.
Watching my kid wrestle.
Oh, that's a good one.
Watching my kid wrestle.
I'm over here doing selfish shit, risking my life, dude. Fuck you, man. Fucking, that's such a good one. Damn.
Watching my kid wrestle.
That's good. I like that. That's a good one. I like that.
I can't live, and that's the thing is I lived so much in the moment in the corner. Now I get to be dad.
It's cool, huh?
And that's it's the best. That's why I put him where he's at. Just so
sweet. Well, good. That was awesome, man. I'm really happy you have me on. Thank you.
It's been a great show. I'm gonna get us out of here. I know Joe and Joe have been listening. You guys appreciate you commenting. It's been awesome. Joey K popped on just at the last minute here, but
last minute, dude. We just got done talking crap about him. He missed it.
I know, right? Yeah, well, that's fine. I'll let him know in text later on. I'll let him know just how much of a great guy he is.
Right.
But yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna lead out here. I'm gonna play some music. We're gonna end the stream. I still want to talk to you for just a minute afterwards.
Sweet.
And we're gonna go from there.
Sweet.
Peace.
All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment, very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.